There are a lot of programs and apps and plugins and add-ons and scripts and whatnot that do symmetry. Illustrator has built-in features to do it. Photoshop technically has built-in features to do it. You could use smart objects or step and repeat. But if you have a CC subscription and you're using 2018, they've added paint symmetry to the latest version. So let's check that out. First thing you want to do is go to Edit, Preferences, and Technology Previews. And you want to make sure that Enable Paint Symmetry is checked, and then say OK. You might have noticed that when you mouse over these items, you'll get a description, and a lot of people ignore those, but every once in a while there's some useful information there. And this one, it'll tell you, once you've enabled it, to use Paint Symmetry, you want to switch to the brush, pencil, or eraser, and then select one of the presets from the button in the options bar. So let's go do that real quick. I'm going to hit B for the brush tool. And you're going to notice up top is this symmetry icon. It looks like a butterfly, and I'm going to click on that. And they've included a few presets here, and they're all cool, but there's a couple that aren't listed here, and I'm going to show you how to use those. First thing we're going to do is go to New Dual Axis. I'm going to hit Ctrl-0 so the canvas fits, and you'll see that the axis it created doesn't quite fit the canvas. And you can either, if that's the size you want, that's fine, but if you want to fill your whole canvas, I'm going to hold down the Shift key to resize proportionally and the Alt key to resize from the center, and then click and drag from a corner. Once I've got it the size I like, I can either click on the check mark or hit the Enter key to accept. I'm going to hit Ctrl-1 to zoom in a little bit just so we can see this better. And what happens is that whatever I draw in one quadrant, it'll appear in the other quadrants. And it doesn't matter which one I draw in, it'll appear in the other three. Of course, you'd probably draw something different than I just did, but that's the basics of how it works. Now the cool thing is, there are a couple options that don't appear here, but they're actually even more useful than the presets I've come up with. And the first thing you want to do is go to your Paths panel, and if it's not showing, just go to Window and Paths. And in your Paths panel, you see the path that the Symmetry tool created. And the first thing we're going to do is double click on that and change it up a little bit. So we're going to change it from dual axis to radial. And then the number afterwards, it says 1. I'm just going to set it to 5. And then hit Enter to accept. Now the guides on the screen don't change at all. And if that throws you off, you can click on the butterfly icon again and hide it. I like to leave it on because it shows me where dead center is. But basically what this means, radial, I set it to Radial Symmetry 5. Whatever path I draw, it'll end up with 5 around the 360-degree axis. I could double click again. I could change that number to 10. The max number you can set it to is 12. I'll set it to 10. And I'll draw another stroke. And you'll see that it actually does 10. I should probably undo that and pick a different color to make you see it better. But the gist of which is it will take whatever number I have and duplicate it that many number of times around the 360-degree axis, whatever paint stroke I do. Now here's another cool feature. One more feature that isn't in the menu is to change it from radial to mandala. And what that will do is take whatever paint stroke you create, it will first mirror it, and then it will repeat it however many times you have it set around a 360-degree axis. And what that means is that you can very quickly and easily come up with some pretty cool patterns just by doing very basic strokes. The difference, one other difference between radial and mandala is that you can set mandala to a max of 10 and radial to a max of 12. So like I said, these are two hidden features that don't appear up in the menu, but I think they kind of create paths that are a lot more useful than what's listed. So play around with it and have fun.